Hey folks, it's Jang here with a look at another McFarlane AMC The Walking Dead building set. This is Daryl with Chopper. Officially this comes with 154 pieces. Yes, 154 pieces get put together to make this little diorama. Most of those pieces actually go into the road and a little bit of foliage area back here in the back. So once I get through spinning this around, we'll take a closer look at that base to see exactly what's going on, exactly what we put together to get to this point. The whole base of the thing is built on a grid, and you can see how that grid is shaped up. The lower piece that you see down here at the very base, the very bottom, is all one piece, and that is where you plug all of the smaller pieces in. You can see for asphalt, you've got a plain asphalt piece, you've got a cracked asphalt piece, and just those two are repeated in different ways to create kind of a believable, random looking texture for the road. You also get these pieces that have the painted stripe on them, and they're slightly different from one to the next, so it looks a little bit randomized. You get the pieces that have a little bit of foliage or moss or something around the base to hold a post for the guardrail. You get these pieces, which are an interface between the dirt area and the asphalt area. And then for dirt, you get a plain dirt piece with some texture on the top. You get a dirt piece with some holes on the top, and they're kind of in a random configuration. And that's to hold these foliage pieces, which you put in one by one. So there are a ton of these in two different styles for these cattails. You got the ones that have the seed pod up at the top, then you have the shorter ones. And they kind of suggest some ways to mix those up, but you can mix them up kind of randomly to make it look a little bit differently. And then there's also the sign there, the Interstate 85 sign, which I think looks great. It looks really nicely bent and distressed. The paint job on it is good. You can see it's been shot out. That's, in my opinion, the best single piece in this whole set. That is all one piece. It comes right out of the box, just like that. And it just fits into one of those same holes that the cattails do on the other side. So you can angle this around however you want, depending upon where you want it to be displayed and what direction you want it to be facing. And then you've got the guardrail there, which is mostly just a couple pieces. You do build the posts out of a few pieces, but the guardrails themselves are just two identical pieces with a little bit of black matte wash over them. And I think that's done by hand, so no two pieces will look exactly the same. And then there's Daryl on his bike, and this is really the centerpiece of the whole thing. It's completely licensed, so they got the right shape. They even got the right sculpt for Daryl's face. That's really well done. Does not have all the painting detail in the face. You can see they painted the hair on there. Hello, zombie. Looks like you're alive back there. You can see they painted the hair, but they didn't paint anything else. So if you want that to be more detailed, you can definitely go in and follow up with a little extra work yourself. The hands almost can be lined up perfectly with those ape hanger style handlebars there. It does get a little bit fragile with the placements. You can kind of rotate the handlebars forward and back. You can bring the arms up and down, but the clutch and brake levers are really, really thin. Started to get a little bit nervous as I started to try to get that a little bit better, but the pose I think is pretty good. The bike is not made of as many pieces as you might expect. The entire engine block is all one piece. You do put two pieces on it for headers, but that's about it. Some of the stuff is assembled, but it's not as much as would have been expected for the centerpiece of the whole set. Like I said, most of the parts went into building the terrain. Interesting thing here is that you'll notice there's no kickstand. It's not being held up by any cheater piece. It's not being held up by any clear pieces. Frequently, companies would put a piece of clear or a piece of black or something just to hold it up, but this is actually pretty nicely done because you don't see any of that. It's just tire on road, and that's because the rear tire has a hole in it, and that's just going over this little peg in the road, just the rear one only, and that's what's holding up the entire bike. And there we go, just get that lined up. You also see on the back of the bike You got the crossbow. The figure is not very posable, so he's not going to be able to hold this crossbow, but they do include it. And it's just something that you can throw on there as an extra detail. I kind of personally would recommend gluing that in place because you can kind of wedge in there a little bit, but it doesn't hold itself entirely perfectly. And then we'll take a look at the zombie just by itself. This you also put together. The arms are separate, the torso is separate, the head is separate, the hip is a separate piece, and then the legs are separate. You can see the seams there. There's a little bit of posability, only a slight bit, mostly with the arms. You know, you can raise and lower the arms. Really nice sculpting on this, and good use of wash. You know, it's got a simple black matte wash over the whole thing, and then some hand painted details for the blood stains on the hands and the mouth and the clothes as well. Looks really good. This one does stand up with a cheater piece. You can see over here, all of the bases of these have the little C-shaped protrusion coming out of them, so they can be attached to a studded base. But then this one, in order to stand up on its own without having a studded base, basically has a cheater stud piece. It's just a clear piece that has a single stud on it. You can angle that however you need to make sure that this thing has enough stability so it kind of looks like it's standing up on its own. A really nice piece though, the whole thing, you know, just makes for a good, believable look, and I think it fits into the diorama very well. So that's just it for this set. You know, I think it looks really good. It's not the most durable thing, so you definitely don't want to play with it. You definitely don't want to move it around a lot, but it was a fairly satisfying experience putting the thing together, and it definitely looks good. Looks very good once it's done, so I appreciate that. I'm still kind of questioning the whole idea of using the system, the building block system to make these sets. I feel like they could have easily done this with far fewer pieces. The base could have all been just one piece, and then, you know, just let the buyer put together maybe more of the motorcycle as well as putting in the foliage pieces. But it's not like folks who have pieces from other companies that are compatible with these would mix and match the bricks or the individual buildable parts, because the studs and the shapes are technically compatible, but the colors are not, the textures are not. So if you put other companies' stuff in here and mix it in, it's mostly not going to look right. But anyway, you've seen the set now. If you have any thoughts on your mind that you would like to share about this, you'd like to share with me and with the rest of the viewers, please do leave a comment down below. I'm going to go build some more stuff so I can bring you some more videos, and I'll be talking to you again very soon.